Welcome to Momentum Investing, property investing made easy. One of the world's top podcasts on property investing, bringing you the top experts in the field so you can learn firsthand what it takes to create passive income and take control over your financial future.
Welcome, Momentum Investor, to the Momentum Investing Podcast. I am so honored today to have a very exciting episode to you. I have my two co-founders of the Momentum Property Education here with me, Lukasz Brzyski and Gisela Wood. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome, it's a pleasure.
So it's super exciting to have all of us gathered because this is your hosts for the show, and we have a lot of exciting shows coming up for you in the future. So we wanted to take this opportunity to kind of share a little bit about our background, who we are, and where the show is going, so why it is so important for you, and what we can do to help you take that next step on your journey. So Gisela, do you want to share a little bit about your background and what you've done as a property investor?
Absolutely, but I would like to say, to start, that we are really excited to also have some fun with the podcast, since you have done all the episodes so far. So
I'm getting fired, guys. That's essentially what's happening here, okay?
We're taking over. It's like piece by piece.
Yeah, we have realized that we have so much better contacts than the ones that you have had on so far. No.
Let's not talk about that, all right? We got some amazing episodes, so go back and listen.
Yeah, so what have I done? What was the question?
Well, see, this is why I have led the show so far. Yes. Share a little bit about your background as a property investor.
As a property investor, yeah. So I have been working a lot on the statistics and due diligence side and the project management of the deals that we have been doing so far. I love statistics and I love property investing because of the statistics. It's so exciting also, the statistics that you can get access to today on the internet. And that is one of the reasons that it's easy to do property investing if you compare to other types of investments.
Exactly. And I mean, what would you say as an investor? I mean, you've done over 100 property deals at this point. You've project managed, you've seen all these different things. What have you seen when going to that, like comparing with stocks and with property investments? What is that biggest benefit of a property investment deal compared to other asset classes?
To know what you're getting. Yeah.
Exactly. So whatever happens, that's what's so exciting. You know, when you're investing in stocks, you never actually know what you're going to get. You make a prediction, you think, as Warren Buffett always tries to buy things at a discount, and you believe it's discounted, but you don't know. In property, you can get the data, you can get the statistics, and you can really see, well, this property right now is available at 80, and the comparative property is actually worth 100, so I'm actually buying this at a discount. So it's really an investor's dream.
Yeah.
So Lukasz, share a little bit about your background and why are you here?
Thank you. So I've stepped into properties a few years ago, and I've done a number of deals, obviously. But what I really love about properties is that you get this wealth that you're building, this momentum that you can build when you start buying one property after another, and so that you see how your portfolio grows, and then also you can easily predict what's going to happen in the future, and you always have this asset in your pocket that, no matter what happens, you have this monthly income coming. For me, actually, properties was one of the ways to step out of the corporate, which was a huge step for me, and that passive income gave me the chance. So I'm super happy to share with you guys over the next few episodes how this all happened, and also what are the different strategies I've been using, which are super exciting.
Well, I think what's been great as well is when we've done the workshops together. So before the whole pandemic, we did a lot of live workshops, obviously.
Yeah, we have been missing that.
Exactly, but we can talk through the camera now. But what's been exciting is when you come up, because you are very much focused on risk mitigation and how to make sure the deal goes according to plan. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. We talk about the numbers and, you find the right deal and then everything is supposed to go according to plan. Yeah. But anyone who's done any home improvement knows that refurbs don't always go the way we hoped. So what are some of the things you've learned over the years that, how do you mitigate that risk?
So just to answer that, we both me and my wife who are in this business together, we've burned our fingers many times in different aspects, in different stages of the project. So over the years, we actually learned and we worked out the strategies how to mitigate those risks. That's why I feel empowered, or I feel excited, and I really want to share with you that, guys, is that you have to plan everything 2 steps ahead, not 1 step ahead, but 2 or 3 even steps ahead. And when you start investing, you have to have an end vision, you have to have the end goal in mind, but also think for yourself, think for the builders you're working with, be proactive. I think being proactive is one of the key elements. Obviously, looking to numbers. Yes, I'm a programmer I'm an engineer by education, so I also love numbers. And that's this way you're going to mitigate a lot of risks. But also, you always have to be proactive. Always think ahead what can happen and trying to protect yourself.
So a question I instantly get there, and I'm sure a lot of you who are listening are thinking is, okay, so with a builder, how do I get proactive? What does that mean?
Oh, there's a few very simple techniques. Like, for instance, you never pay anything up front, more than you need. So always making sure that you don't pay too much, and you always check on them. You have the right tools and processes in place to stay on top of what's going on in the property. So we have to have a very strict process. Okay, so do we get reports every week? Do we have reports every 2 weeks? That's very too rare. But also getting videos, getting pictures from the property, of course. Taking a look at the numbers and trying to reward your builders when things are getting faster. So there are various ways we can talk about. We can definitely talk about them on the future episodes.
And of course, we had the episode with Michael First, who is one of the top project managers in the UK, who talks about this a lot. So that's definitely an episode to go back and listen to if you haven't yet, because this part of the process is so important. So, Gisela, you have a lot of exciting speakers we're looking forward to have come on the show. Is there anyone you are specifically, personally looking forward to having on the show?
Yeah, but I haven't got her to say yes for real yet, but I'm going to try to. I have tried to reach out to Kim Kiyosaki, and we have had her on one of our live events before when we had an Empowered Women event. She was amazing, and she brought 3 other of her friends, and one of those has actually been on the podcast.
Yep, so Seal Stanford, the episode with Seal. Seal and Kim are best friends. That was an amazing episode.
Yeah, and so I have reached out then to Kim to see if she can come on one of the episodes so that I can interview her for our podcast, talking about, it's probably going to be a little bit more directed towards women, but I mean, the advice that you get, you can use whether you're a man or a woman.
See, we're invited too, guys. We're lucky. We're fine. So Kim, if you're listening, take this shout out. You have to come on the show. The entire audience is waiting for it, right, guys? So that's going to be awesome. So what is your kind of goal with this podcast? What do you see that we're going to be doing with it going forward?
Reaching out to more people, getting them to understand that it's actually possible for them to make a difference in their future. They don't have to work forever and then feel afraid that they might not even have enough money to continue their life when they're not working anymore, when they hit their pension. Start giving them the knowledge so that they can understand that it's possible to get more knowledge and the right knowledge to start to take action on the property journey side. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, that's something for all of you who've emailed in and who are leaving these voice messages that you can do on our website, the MomentumInvestingPodcast.com. You should know that means so much for us. Every time you do that, just let us know that, it's making an impact, it's having a difference. Obviously, everyone in the Facebook community who's commenting that, it makes such a difference. And as you say, a lot of people are worried about their finances. We just today had one of our members of the Facebook community, the International Property Investors Facebook community, commented and said, it's so frustrating that there's always so much month at the end of the money. Which is a problem, that you run out of money and then you still have a week or two left, and a lot of people who are looking at their pension plans are seeing, and it's very common in the US, luckily not as much yet in Europe, is that literally your money will run out in your pension, and if you live too long, you actually won't be able to afford to live. And that's where passive income comes in, because it doesn't stop. It keeps coming in. A property investment will generate an income in 50 years or 100 years or 150 years. And that's what's different from a lot of different other safety nets out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Lukasz, what do you see, as a listener of the podcast, what do you think is like the biggest takeaway they will get over the next 6 months from listening to these amazing interviews?
Mm-hmm. So my focus will be very much on giving you the safety net. So making sure that there's, or letting you know that the safety net you have with properties is definitely there in place. You just need to know how to use it. So we're going to learn how to use the safety net. We're going to look at strategies that are very safe, especially in the pandemic times. So we have a really times where many things are uncertain. We're looking at strategies that are really certain when you pay by the government.
You've got a really exciting speaker coming on specifically about this that's already booked in.
Exactly. So one of my strategies I use in my portfolio is social housing, for instance, is when it's actually the government who pays for your tenants. Now, there might be different questions being asked. Okay, so what does it really mean that the government is paying? So people who are living there, they don't pay themselves, they don't take care of their property, right? So there might be potential problems. But actually there are ways to do it in a way that is really safe, and you get almost the market prices for the tenants. But you have no voids, you have a safety for a number of years when you have a long-term contracts. And one of my future guests, I will not spoil the name yet, but I'll let it sink in a bit. But he's an expert in social housing strategy. He's got multiple companies where he works with, many social housing companies he works with. So, and he's also an expert in law. So he was actually really the guy, the go-to guy in terms of social housing. So we'll be talking about that. But also, we're talking security, right? We're talking about risk mitigation. I'm the person who's quite cautious when I take decisions, so I always research twice or 3 times before I step into something. We'll be also talking to mortgage brokers, for instance, how to secure your currency. So that's definitely those things we'll be looking into. How to secure your portfolio. That would my focus.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things for us internationals. Currency brokers become so important because you might do a great property investment, but if the currency drops by 20%, all of a sudden your profit went away. And we aren't currency traders, we're property investors. We shouldn't know, and we shouldn't be basing our investment on the currency luck or non-luck. We should be doing good property deals, and everything else needs to be taken care of.
And to add to this, actually, we can be actually making money on the currency as well. Yeah. Because imagine if you can buy a currency 5% cheaper than you'd normally, then it's like you would get a discount. So essentially you're buying the property on the market value, but since you make money on the currency when you purchase, then you're actually making money up front. So you're buying with a discount below market value.
So there's always a lot of ways. These are these details that we're going to be looking at and improving consistently. And that's what's so exciting. And I think that's what really drives our mission, is to really make sure you have the best people from all over the world. And it will always be a combination of people like Kim Kiyosaki, who's obviously a celebrity name. We have a couple other very exciting people coming on, and we're not going to spoil anymore, but they are some of the most famous people in the world when it comes to personal development, coming to investing, that are coming on the show. Well, we're always going to be varying it with experts like your social housing contact, who's he's literally one of the top consultants in the entire UK when it comes to social housing. So you'll have that combination of someone who has that decades of insight into how other people have succeeded and how they grow, combined with this detailed insight from experts.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, how about some parting words from our two hosts? Gisela, what do you want to say as a final beat of wisdom to our dear listeners?
I just wanted to say too that even though we have a lot of focus in the UK, we have already had speakers coming on from the US, for instance. And I mean, our goal is to give you property advice and market advice from all over the world. So we are bringing in experts from all over the world. So we are, even if we love UK and invest a lot in the UK, we are going to have speakers and experts coming on from other areas in the world as well. And that's really exciting.
Absolutely. And I mean, among us, we've invested already in 4 or 5 different countries. So there's always a spread and there's always a value to investing from different countries. But also just with the interview, you might have listened to the episode with Pip Stellick, who's from the US. We have multiple more US speakers, and they have a different way of looking at property. They have a little different way of looking at deal structure, and just having that different input as a property investor will give you another level to your game. So I think that is super exciting. And we're going to have people from all over the world come on. So that is going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So I just want to say that, even though we are focused on the UK and we're focused on properties, even if you haven't stepped into properties yet and you've been investing in different assets, different asset classes, or maybe you even didn't invest at all, and you don't know where to start, the knowledge and the principles we'll be sharing are applicable in many different aspects of business. I mean, even if you haven't been really investing, or you haven't thought about investing in properties, but you've been thinking about investing in stocks somewhere else, then currency hedging is something you can use pretty much in every investing or any kind of money transaction business, right? So yes, we'll be sharing a lot of detailed knowledge in different aspects of property investing, but also we'll try to be also broad enough so you can take some other knowledge that you can use elsewhere.
That's awesome. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. As you can hear, we got some exciting episodes coming up. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast through whatever system you're using, be it Apple Podcast, Podchaser, Switch, Google Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you get a notification the moment the next episode comes out. The episodes come out every single Tuesday with some of the top experts from throughout the world, where our mission is to help you reach your goal and succeed. I would also like to invite you to join our Facebook community, where we have a chance to get to know you a little better. You can ask questions of us directly. We have a Q&A, an open Q&A every single week. All you do is you go to Facebook and you search for International Property Investors. If you apply to join there, we'll accept you in, and you'll be a part of that community that is growing quickly, has investors from all over the world. We have some amazing conversations going on there about what strategies are working right now, what is going on in the overall economy, what deals are people doing right now, what potential joint ventureships could you do. So it's a great way to get to know other investors, hear what they're thinking, what's going on in the market, and whenever you have a question or get stuck, that's over 900 property investors who are ready to help you out and support you. So welcome to the group. Thank you again for listening. We'll see you next week on our next show. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for joining us. This was Daniel Wood,
Lukasz,
and Gisela Wood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.